What's up, everybody? Welcome to Around the NHL. I'm Alex, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Patrik Laine. Is he worth all the money that he may end up getting from Winnipeg? Should Winnipeg trade him? Should they let him go? Things like that I want to talk about in this video because Laine is a polarizing character, in my opinion. Now, to me, I really do like him as a player. I understand his strengths and weaknesses, but Winnipeg is in a pretty tough situation with their players in general, with the fact that as a team, they've had a lot of ups and downs. Now, yes, they've been a very successful team over the past couple of years, routinely 100-point seasons, routinely very, very good in the regular season, but it always seems that they take some steps back towards the end of the year, that they start going backwards at the end of the year, and then the playoffs just don't do what people expect. I expected Winnipeg over the last 2 years to be close to, if not Stanley Cup ready. I thought they were going to be the team to come out of the West. 2 years ago, I predicted that they would be the team out of the West to go to the Stanley Cup. I think they're a very likable team. I very much like them. And Laine, I feel like he gets put under the magnifying glass for a lot of the things that go right with them, a lot of things that go wrong. Immediately jumping into the league, as an 18-year-old coming out of the draft, he was a very, very high scorer. In his very first year, I believe he scored 36 goals. Very high scorer, and point-wise, he was pretty darn good as well. This year was definitely a down year. He only had 50 points, down from, I believe, 74 the year before. He still scores goals, okay? He's a 30-goal scorer at the absolute lowest. I remember, I think a lot of you may remember, going into the season, the very first season he was drafted, people were saying, like, is he the next Alex Ovechkin? Like, he just scores goals with such ease. The problem with Laine, and I do understand this problem, and I do agree with it. I do not think Laine is even close to being their best player. I don't think Laine is even close to being like their third, fourth, or fifth best player, to be honest with you. Laine is a pure goal scorer, and that's fantastic, and I'm not taking anything away from that. You can score goals, all day, and I'll always want you, on a team. I think any team would want a person that just has an elite ability to score goals. Alex Ovechkin, he's more than just a goal scorer, Ovechkin, but, that's what he's mainly known for. Laine, though, in terms of like the underlying numbers, the analytics, is purely a scorer. He also takes some pretty bad shots. He's not even the best player at driving possession, at taking shots that will lead to like rebounds or continued plays. He'll take some bad shots. The thing he's the best at, and that's pretty much all he's good at, is shooting the puck into the net. He is an elite goal scorer. He drives, I guess, the play by literally putting the puck in the back of the net. At the end of that, though, there's nothing else. Assist-wise, he's pretty weak. Defensively, he's not good at all. So what does that mean for, like, money-wise? Well, I assume he's going to want quite a big deal. This is the summer, right, of just players in terms of restricted free agents getting a lot of money, or assumingly going to get a lot of money. You have Kyle Connor, also in Winnipeg. You have Mitch Marner. You have Mikko Rantanen. You have a lot. Braden Point of Tampa. You have a lot of players that I believe are just waiting for the others. I'm pretty sure they're all waiting for Mitch Marner. But, some of them are pretty Point is a fantastic player. Rantanen is a little bit of I think an over, I think people put a lot of stock into him. He is very good, but he's not, to the level of, say, a Mitch Marner. So I feel like they're all waiting for the next person to sign. And when it comes to Laine, the question would be, is he worth it, or what is he worth? What's he worth? And if he's willing, I believe the rumor was he's very much willing to wait. He's willing to sit out parts of the season or the beginning of the season to get a contract that he wants. The question would be what is he worth 3 years in? He's still very, very young, but we've gotten a lot of him as a player. We've gotten 3 full seasons. Has he been injured a little bit? Yes, but he's kind of fallen out of favor there. You figure he needs to be a top 6 forward, and they have a lot of winger options on that team. You have the possibility of Ehlers being traded, so there are a couple things that are kind of in flux there. I talked about Winnipeg in the Rasmus Ristolainen video, and I talked about, and even Jake, Winnipeg is in the middle of everything, right? Ristolainen, could they get him? Where would he fit? And, he'd be obviously right behind Bufflin. Do they sign Gardner? Are they looking to sign Gardner? Do they want Gardner and Ristolainen? If they can't get Gardner, is Ristolainen the next thing? Ehlers, is Ehlers part of that Ristolainen trade? Is he key out of that. There's a lot of things going on in Winnipeg, and I assume they all, kind of go around Laine and Connor, because both of them are going to get an extremely high amount of money. I would assume 7 to 8 million is kind of on the lower end, and Laine, it wouldn't surprise me if he wants in the 9 or even $10 million. Is he worth that? Truly, I don't think he is. I 100% don't believe he is. However, he's not exactly comparable to, but I see him maybe in the same eyes as a Jeff Skinner on my Buffalo Sabres. I've talked about it. I'm kind of biased towards Buffalo Sabres, but you look at Jeff Skinner, he is primarily a goal scorer. Okay, he does a lot of other things, and his underlying numbers, I believe, are a lot better than Laine, but he's also playing with a Jack Eichel, who, in my opinion, is a top 10 center in the NHL. So, his analytics, they're going to be better. I think just overall, anybody's would be playing with a Jack Eichel. But you look at Skinner, he gets $9 million, and he primarily just scores goals. He really doesn't get that many assists. He can get 20, 25 assists if you're lucky. You're mainly looking at the goals. So if he only gets 30 goals, he gets 20 assists. That's only 50 points, and he's getting, $9 million. So maybe Laine's looking at that. However, Jeff Skinner's proven. He's 26, 20. I think he just turned 27. He's been in the league literally since he's been 18, so he's been in the league quite a long time. This is his payday, right? And you also look at just comparable players that are in that prime spot to get paid. I mean, if Laine wants that 8-year deal, it'll take him through 2 unrestricted free agency, take him into, when he's 29, 30 years old, he could get that. And he may want, $10 million. Because then by the time he gets to 30, truly, who really knows where we're at, even in the world at that point? I guess if you were to assume that nothing happens economical-wise, in the actual world, and the salary cap keeps on raising every single year, maybe by then, he could get $15, $16, $17 million a season. So, it's all kind of subjective. It's all kind of relative to whatever they believe. But is Laine worth it? I'd personally say no, but there's other players out there that you look at, and you just look at their stats. Just look at their base stats. Again, the analytics show something else. The analytics show Laine is just a goal scorer, and that's it. However, is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. I would always want to take a Laine. However, again, because Buffalo Sabres, my team, when there's talk of the Ristolainen trade, there's a lot of polls that have been out, especially on Twitter, of who you would even want back in a Ristolainen trade. And Laine is always actually the lowest player that everybody picks to want back. Behind even players like Roslovic, Ehlers, Connor. There's a lot of other players there that I think people in Buffalo, just in that poll, and that's just one poll. That's pretty, that's pretty subjective to that one poll. But I think it shows that a lot of people may think that he's going to get paid. I personally believe more than he's worth. And for Winnipeg, that puts them in a tough spot because again, they're kind of juggling. They need defense. They have a solid-ish defense, but they're really going to rely too much on Byfuglien and Morrissey, who they're fantastic players for sure, but you kind of need other players. You can't just rely on 2 people. So if they get Ristolainen, I mean, that's a decently sized salary coming back. Even if you trade away Ehlers, you're saving a little bit of money. Do you have to get rid of Perreault in order to do something there? And what's the plan? With Laine, with Connor, they are definitely in a win now situation. So signing those 2 to big contracts, if Laine wants $9 million, $9.5 million a season, he may very well get that. Will that hurt them in 1, 2, 3 years when they need to sign other restricted free agents or when they're looking to fill that hole and they just don't have enough cap? Could very well. They're totally in a win now, especially with players like Wheeler, way past his prime, but still a very, very good player. Byfuglien, same thing, past the prime, getting to the age where they're starting to slow down, but still in that win now moment. And then with players, even your main core like Scheifele and them, they're getting to that prime age that you need to win right now. So it's very interesting. I don't think Laine would be worth $9 to $10 million, but I do think that is where it's going to kind of come down. A trade, I mean, again, he's willing to wait into the season. So I don't think these kind of players are players you just trade away. And if you were to trade Laine, you would get quite a lot back, that's for sure. But I don't really think they're in that situation. I know he kind of, again, fell out of favor with the coaching staff, with the team in general, kind of. But I feel like he's a player that, he puts 30 goals up in a bad year. He can probably get 40 to 45 every single year very, very consistently. That's pretty solid. Even if he gets 20 assists, even if he is kind of weak defensively, even if he doesn't drive possession, you put him with players basically that do, and it kind of fixes the overall thing. So, is a 60-point player worth $10 million? I mean, it's just kind of the NHL we're in right now with the goal scoring, right? That's kind of just what it is. But I personally don't think he would be worth it. But guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think Laine is going to get, a lot of money? Where do you think his salary is going to come in? Do you think they would trade him? Do you think he'll end up waiting into the season? All that stuff, let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast. Now hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you, as always, for watching. I hope to see you on the next video.